What is up, you beautiful people? In this video, I'm talking with a phenomenal coach, and I use the term phenomenal because his company's name is Phenom India as well. And it's a very interesting story because last time I spoke to Mr. Sanjay, give me a minute. Yeah, last time I spoke to Mr. Sanjay, he told me about his career journey and it transitioned through a lot of ups and downs. And he has also transitioned in this entire journey from sales position to trainer position to a coach now, and he has like professional and internationally certified. So let's cover this entire journey of Sanjay in this call, and hopefully will both you and me, you being my audience and me being me, learn something from Sanjay in his journey. So Sanjay, can you give us a little bit of a intro, 1 minute short intro to our audience?
Sure, I will. Thanks very much for having me on your show, Jen. Super cool, super excited to be here. Like Jen said, my name is Sanjay Wadhwa, and right now I'm an international business coach. But before this, I have been a corporate trainer, and I've trained more than 150,000 people across 16 different countries. Worked with training companies, work with a Fortune 500 company, heading training for a division of that company. And before that, I've been into sales. So sales, training, and now coaching. For the last 8 years, I've been coaching people. And my promise to any business owner is, as a business coach, is that I will double your revenue with money back guarantee and free your time and involvement so that you can do what you love doing while your business keeps growing. So that's my short and sweet professional introduction.
Awesome. That's a bold guy. How do you promise 2x? I mean, without knowing about some person.
Yeah, so see, essentially, small businesses have a lot of room on the top, right, Jen? And the way this works is that, I'll give you a story that'll explain everything. Okay, so there are two friends walking through the jungle, right? And they hear a lion's roar. So the first thing that happens is panic. They start to, kind of sweat and run and this, that, and the other. And then suddenly one friend stops and starts to tie his shoelace. And the second friend looks at him and says, "What are you going to run faster than a lion? You're trying to run now. You're trying, will you be able to run faster than a lion?" So he looks up, smiles, and says, "Those, I don't have to run faster than a lion. I just have to run faster than you." For a small business to grow their business, they only have to beat a couple of people who are in front of them in the queue, right? Like
Mm.
if I ask a small business owner, what's your market share? They'll probably say 0.00 some percentage. If I ask Reliance or Geo, what's your
Yeah.
market share? They'll probably say 35%. But if I ask a small business, they'll say 0.001. Now, for a small business to go from 0.001% to 0.002%, it just needs a little bit of science and a
Yeah.
little bit of marketing expertise, and they'll be able to do that. So that's how I can guarantee that I bring the science to your business and help you double your revenue.
That was a good insight. Like, okay, I never thought that way. Like, I always think in terms of revenue because, no matter how much I push, our agency grows like at 20% per year, 30% per year. Like, how come this person comes and 2x kar denge? That's what's
Huh.
in my mind. But looking at market share, I think yeah, it makes sense that way because you can
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely expand much better. So tell me a little bit
Correct.
about your story, Sanjay. Like, what was your life before? Like the salesperson Sanjay to sales trainer Sanjay. How did you transition?
Yeah. Yeah. Can I go one step even before that? And let me start from my studies. I wasn't very good at studies, and I graduated with just 47 percentage from a very obscure college in a very obscure suburb of Mumbai,
55%.
and
What grows?
oh yeah. So when I graduated, I had no hope. I had friends who had gone into MBA. I had friends who were looking at doing something in science and stuff like that. But for me, it was like graduation khatam karo, naukri karo. Okay, and I took the first job that came my way. That was sales, and I became a salesperson. And I was really, really bad at sales. Like in 5 years of my doing sales, I changed 6 jobs. Before the company could throw me out for my performance, I would go give interview and get another job. And a new job usually means 10-15% increment as well. So I was getting my increments not in my own organization like everybody else gets, but I would change the job and get a increment like that. So that's how life was going. I used to travel in Mumbai local trains, 2 hours, hanging on the door, doing time pass and stuff like that, with no hope of doing anything in life. The one thing that kind of changed my life is that hunger to do something. And you keep asking people, "Kya kar sakte hain? Kya kar sakte hain?" And somebody I met in the local train, didn't know him too well. He said, "Hey, if your sales career is not going well, why don't you attend some personality development training?" So I asked him, "Do you know any?" And he said, "There is one guy who's come from Bangalore and he's doing one training in this place called Andheri in Mumbai, and you should go and attend that training." It was a Thursday, it was evening. Anyways, salespeople are known that to tell their organization, "I'm going on a call," and then go do what they want to do. So I kind of skipped out. I remember I reached there at 5 o'clock. It was going to start at 5:30 or something, and I sat through the 3 hours of that training. It was in today's day we have these webinars, right? So they are introductory webinars, and then they sell a bigger upgrade course, right? So it was a 3 hour training, but then they were selling Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like a 3 day personality development training, and I was impressed. All the money I had at that time, like full month salary, I invested in that 3 day training. I attended the 3 day training. And by the end of that training, my life had altered. Like in these 3 days, I did stuff that I had never dreamt of. Like, jumped up, jumped down, screamed, shouted, met strangers, spoke to them, made goals, did some memory thing, and a lot of stuff that I hadn't done before. And suddenly what dawned onto me is life has so much more to offer. And I'm stuck in my own zone. बोलते हैं ना वो कुएं का मेंढक. So I was like that. And I suddenly realized that there is so much I can do. And one of the messages of that training was, if you put your mind to it, you can do anything you want to do in life.
Yeah.
And I walked out of that training wanting to be a trainer, that like this guy who had made us jump and do 300, people up and down, this and that and the other. I said, "Isme jitna power hai na, utna mujhe bhi chahiye. I also want to become a trainer." That's
Right.
how I got some purpose in my life. Okay. When I walked out and I told my friends I want to be a trainer, they said, "Boss, uska 25 saal ka experience hai. You don't even have, your age is not 25. You don't even have that kind of age with you. How will you become a trainer?" And when I started training, this is way back in 99, 2000, young trainers were not heard of. I was less than 24, 25 years old, the age at that time. So unheard of, right? But I decided I want to be a trainer. And that's when I decided I'll do what it takes, right? So then somebody said, "Read books." So I went to my boss at that time and I said, "Give me first class pass so that I can go in the local train, not hang at the door, and can read books." He said, "Okay, if you read books, then you have to make sure you come on Saturday and train just everybody else. What you read, you have to share that." So that's how my training journey started.
Oh,
I
that's
would
such a
read
nice company that you were in.
Friday.
आजकल कहाँ मिलता है ऐसा?
Monday to Friday, I would read. Saturday, I would train my office staff half day and then go back, get a group of my friends, put them in a room and start give them free personality development training. And 13 months later, I was working in a training company as a salesperson, but the trainer had met with an accident and they needed somebody to just do something till they can organize somebody else. And I started training. I told them I can do it. I started training. And my boss had actually gone to all the people who had come for the training, saying, "Boss, we'll refund your money because the trainers met with an accident, but here is a junior trainer. He will train. If you don't like it, have lunch, ask for refund, we'll give it to you." Luckily, no one asked for a refund. I trained the whole day. It was a hit, and I became a trainer.
Ah,
Okay. Since then,
nice.
I've been training. I have trained 20, 24 days every month for a long, long time. I've gone to 16 different countries. I've trained in languages, and then people have translated it, and all sorts of things have happened. Um, one of the other things, Jen, people said that, remember people said read books. Then people said you have to be an MBA. So I actually did my MCOM, got more than 50% of the marks because 50% is required to give MBA entrance. Then did masters in computer management from Pune University. That's where I met my business partner as well. We studied together, and and for 14 years, I kept going to one country. Like I've gone to US, Australia, Singapore, Malaysia, many countries to go learn a new skill, a new program that I can come bring to India. I've got 18 international certifications for training and coaching. You know why? Because I have found purpose, and whatever it takes for me to live my purpose, to make it come true, that's the process I was following.
Okay.
So not only I did my MBA in computers, or you can call it Masters in Computer Management, but I've gone to many locations, countries to learn to be the best in the trade that I've chosen and to make a difference with people's life. So that's my story of how I went from sales to training. In 2011, I started my own training company, and it was a corporate training company. We worked with the best companies in India: Godrej, Reliance, Tata's, top 5 banks of India, and all that. And in 2014, that company was created in a way that I was not needed to run the company. It was running on autopilot. We had 80 trainers who were servicing the clients and delivering the training. So when I started in 2011, I was a product of the company. In 2014, I became free in that company. I didn't have to do anything.
I'm
I
in
could
that
do what I
process
wanted.
right now, brother. I'm figuring out how
Yeah.
exactly to get out of this entire thing. Because
Yeah, exactly. So when I figured it out, that became my next passion. That how can I take small businesses and give them this input so that they can keep growing their company while freeing their time and involvement, so that they can do what they love doing, like see their children grow, spend time with family, go on vacations, cultivate hobbies, self-care. Like there's so much that business owners can do, but they don't do because धंधे के पीछे पड़ना है, right?
honestly,
So
like,
how can
dude, like
we?
people keep asking me, Jayant, what is your hobby? I'm like, social life की तो लगी पड़ी रहती है. I'm like, okay, my hobby is going to the gym and 3 people know me. That's it. Out of
Yeah,
job.
yeah. तो
That's
कुछ इस तरह से, so that's now become my promise for the last 8 years. What I do in my business is essentially coach other businesses. My corporate training business is doing very well, and I don't have to get involved. In fact, very little involvement, 10%.
oh, nice. So it's like, how did you get out of coaching? Because I mean, we have an agency and a coaching, and I don't know, it's my mental belief or something. But a lot of the time, I keep thinking people are here because I was there. If I'm not here,
Hmm.
if I was not there to deliver, maybe customers won't come. I don't know. How did you get past
Yeah.
this, or like, how did you escape this situation?
No, so I'm still in the process of escaping that, but I'll explain. In my coaching business, I have 3 things. Okay. One is I coach people one-on-one, okay, which is my time versus money.
Hmm.
Okay. But I charge very premium, and I have very few clients. That's for my passion. So I'm passionate about helping other business owners. So I fulfill my passion and at the same time deliver a lot of value for clients, right? So that's what I do as a business coach. Then I have also a group coaching program where I put a few people together, those who can't afford my premium fee, but they need my help and support. So I do that. So that's like about 6, 8, maybe 10 hours a week I spend on doing that. The rest of the time, I'm actually training and certifying people to become business coaches.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I'm creating an army. I've already trained and certified 32 business coaches in the last 1.5 years, and we have a goal of training and certifying 100 more coaches. So as we increase the number of coaches, what I want to do, what I did in my training business, that at some point in time I was the product, but then it got replaced as 80 other trainers delivering training. That's what we want to do with clients. We want to tell them that, hey, you're getting plugged into a system of coaching. It doesn't matter who your coach is, you'll still get the results that you want.
Yeah.
Okay, and then match the client and their mentality and their mindset to a coach who kind of matches the mindset wavelength, and then make sure that the system that the coaches are running, it kind of delivers the value that the client wants.
Yeah.
So that is how we're trying to do it. It will take another year or so, but in 1 year, I will be free of doing any coaching. I will only do what I want to do. I don't have to do anything.
Yeah, aim into that. Now, my solution to that has always, it's in my mind. I'm still in the process. It's like we have hired two other people, and something that I've realized, like I come with a very specific set of skills. To transition that to other people, it feels like, okay, I don't need one person. I need probably five more people
Yeah, yeah.
specializing in one of the skills, and these five people will basically go ahead and help 100 other people collectively that I was able to do like 20, 30 at a time. I think that's the way, right?
Correct, correct. Yes, that's the way. And you probably will need one person to coordinate the effort of the five. We
Mhm.
call that as an executive assistant, somebody who is like your right hand person.
Yeah.
So that person then replaces the management. You don't even have to manage those five people, but your job is to, and then there are 5 steps to doing this. I'll tell you the 5 steps as well, but your job is to train them and make them you. Okay, so for every skill set, first you need to master it. That's the first step. Then when you hire somebody, you need to do it in front of them and they're observing you doing it, so they actually see how you think, how you manage things, and so on.
Like they can
Then
still shadow
they,
you when you are coaching
yeah,
people. Okay.
yeah, you actually demonstrate, show them, right? And then the third step is they do it and you observe them doing it. And once they finished, right or wrong, once they finished, then you coach them. ट्वीक, ये क्यों नहीं सोचा, वो क्यों नहीं किया, क्लाइंट को ये क्यों नहीं पूछा, अगली बार ये पूछना. So you actually coach them post that event.
ये तो किसी भी बिजनेस
Yeah,
में सकते हैं, like for example if I
किसी भी business,
take,
किसी भी skill
हाँ,
set पे.
so let's say I take we take this to an agency level. Let's say I'm running Facebook ads for somebody. So I am running Facebook ad. Tomorrow I'll just ask somebody कि तू मेरे साथ बैठ, be on the Zoom call while
Hmm.
I run the Facebook ad. You observe. Tomorrow you run the Facebook ad and I'll observe. And whatever mistakes you made in the copy or in the creative, I'll just guide you through the process. And
Yes.
but how do you replicate that? Do you build internal courses? So please, how do you do that?
Uh, Process documents are great way to do it. SOPs, you just write down what you do, like how you think. You say, hey, this is what I do. This is how I do my research. These are the 5 places I go and check. So I go to answer the public and check what people are asking, and I go to Amazon and check what books are written on this and this, that, and the other. So you write down all the steps and get people to follow it. And as they're following it, see, you would have derived some research out of the same piece, and they will probably derive some other research. So all you need to say is, "Arey boss, ye nahi dekhna hai. You have to check this. You don't check this, right?" And very soon they can easily follow the steps. It becomes a part of their DNA. And only when you observe them doing this on their own, freely, without any mistakes, then you let them do it. That's when you replicated yourself and you're out.
Yeah.
Now there's another step to it, and that the magic is that they now use these 4 steps with somebody else. So you're replicating you and they are replicating them, which means you're getting multiple backups ready in your organization.
Oh, they trained the new hirees so that, oh, that's fantastic. Oh, I was under the
Yeah,
impression I have to train everyone together. Okay.
that's the growth of leadership. And this comes from this 5 steps come from world's #1 leadership trainer, guru, you want to call him. His name is John Maxwell. John Maxwell has written over 90 books on leadership.
Hmm.
Okay, and he's my personal mentor. I've gone learned from him. He says it so simply, but honestly, these 5 steps have helped me multiply my business manifold. Because once you can replicate one person's skill set, you can easily multiply the business.
Right. At what point do you think, I mean, it's a noob question to be honest. It should be from day one, but what happens is, let's say we start a new segment of the business. It means
Hmm.
at least for a year or two, you're like in the trenches, like working on it, building stuff. At what point do you recommend you should start building the systems? Is it from day one? Because then you know that now may not be the right time because you're still figuring things out. So at what point do you should you build systems so that tomorrow if I hire somebody, they should get trained on that?
So that's a very, very interesting question. Okay, I had this experience. I was working with a consultant for some project for like short 30 days or something. This is 15 years back. So one time a team member came to this consultant and said, "Here, boss, I'm not getting the right data from that company." Okay. So he said, okay, bring me the process document. So I hadn't seen a process document before. So in the process document, it is written that, okay, you have to, get in touch with this particular person in the client organization, send them a mail on the mail document, what all you need and this, that, and the other. And he added one step in the process document saying CC his boss and CC his boss's boss if you don't get a response in 3 days. So I said, what are you doing? She came to you for a solution. What are you doing in the process document? He says, no, I will give her the solution. That is a band-aid. Abhi khoon nikla hai to usko khoon pe patti lagana hai. That's a band-aid. But how do I ensure that this request never, this problem, nobody comes to me with this problem ever again? Like,
Or
how do I ensure that this problem never happens in the organization? So I said, how? So I said, I have now written in the process document, which means if this girl leaves tomorrow, and somebody else takes over, she's going to follow that process, right? In the process, there's an escalation कि अच्छा 3 दिन में रिपोर्ट नहीं मिला तो उसके बॉस को सीसी कर दो, उसके उसके बॉस के बॉस को भी सीसी कर दो, तो कहीं ना कहीं तो प्रेशर में आ ही जाएगा।
yeah.
अच्छा, तो मैं बोला अभी भी नहीं आया रिपोर्ट, तो बोला जब वो सिचुएशन आएगी तो मैं इसमें और एक स्टेप ऐड करूंगा।
Oh wow, this is good. Okay.
That's process, right? And the process has to start from the day one. You've got to start writing the process from day one. As you're figuring out, you'll keep tweaking the process document. The process document is a live, active document. The day you haven't made changes to your process document for 2 months, 3 months, like that means now it's done. It's done. You've arrived at a place where you're not needed anymore. You can now hand over the process document to somebody else, and they will start running the process. See, so your process document tells you when you're ready to hand over, but
Yeah.
the document starts from day one.
Okay, gotcha. Because what happens, I'll tell you an example. Every time a new client comes in the agency in the last 2 years, if I go back, to the 2-year-old, 2-year young giant, and I see him do the onboarding, I would probably slap him in the face, like, "Bhai, aise nahi karte hain." And now it's like evolved so radically that अब कुछ अता
Correct.
पता नहीं है दोनों में. That's why it
Correct.
confuses me. तब बनाना चाहिए था, अब बनाओ, अब तो चलो बन गए हैं. But
नहीं, तब बनाते और उसको ट्वीक करते रहते, जैसे जैसे आप बोलते कि अरे ऐसे नहीं करना है, ये करना है, तो वो ये करना है प्लस वो लिखना भी है कि अच्छा ये क्या नया करना है। अगर वो करते तो आज मेहनत नहीं करनी पड़ती। अब क्या है, किसी को बैठ के ऑब्जर्व करना पड़ेगा कि ये क्या करता है। अच्छा, पहला स्टेप है, ये क्लाइंट को कॉल करता है, कॉल पे वो 4 चीजें बोलता है, नाइस टू हैव यू ऑन बोर्ड, दिस दैट एंड द अदर, एंड देन ही सेज लेट्स सेट अप अ कॉल। सो नेक्स्ट स्टेप इज सेट अप अ कॉल। वो अभी वो सोच के लिखना पड़ेगा। बट अगर वो लिखा होता और जिस तरह से ट्वीक कर रहे होते हम, जैसे जैसे ट्वीक कर रहे होते, तो हम उसमें भी ट्वीक करते रहते डॉक्यूमेंट में। दैट्स सो पावरफुल, इजंट इट?
That's fantastic. Interesting, यार. Can we go a little bit deeper into this
आई
topic? मुझे मजा तो बहुत आ रहा है, if you want.
हाँ हाँ,
Yeah, okay.
यू नो, ऐसा भी होता है जैन, अभी तो हम सब लोग चैट जीपीटी के पीछे पड़े, राइट? आई एम श्योर इन द एजेंसी वर्ल्ड आल्सो एवरीबॉडी इज रनिंग बिहाइंड चैट जीपीटी एंड,
मेरा तो आधा ही
बट लिसन,
ChatGPT से ही चल रहा है अभी.
हाँ, करेक्ट करेक्ट करेक्ट, लेकिन चैट जीपीटी के प्रॉम्प्ट लिखने का भी एक तरीका है ना।
Yeah.
हाँ, अच्छा, अब आप अभी आप देखो आप क्या करते हो। आप प्रॉम्प्ट लिखते हो, अगर वो प्रॉम्प्ट चल गया ना आपका, तो वो प्रॉम्प्ट कॉपी करके एक वर्ड डॉक्यूमेंट में या गूगल डॉक में रखते हो, सबको बोलते हो यही प्रॉम्प्ट यूज करना
केवल
है।
यूज करना है.
यही प्रोसेस है, जेन यू आर डूइंग इट राइट फ्रॉम द बिगिनिंग।
That's true. That's true. Yeah,
तो
exactly.
चैट जीपीटी के वर्ल्ड में हम ये कर रहे हैं ऑलरेडी। ओके, जिस भी कंपनी में चैट जीपीटी यूज होता है, किसी का बेस्ट प्रैक्टिस बन जाता है कि अरे देखो ये प्रॉम्प्ट से ये रिजल्ट आ रहा है, तो वो प्रॉम्प्ट्स कॉपी कर लेते हैं किसी किधर, बोलते हैं बस सब लोग यही प्रॉम्प्ट यूज करो, है ना? दिस इज सेटिंग द प्रोसेस, सिंपल।
It's still एक part हो गया. I mean, process document wise it's okay. But how do you make sure that आपके employees वो करेंगे भी? on the same level of efficiency, मतलब monitor तो करते रहना पड़ेगा ना, right? Like, or am I missing something here?
Correct. No, monitor. Then your job as a management or CEO or whatever is to only monitor. Like you actually, there are organizations where people create a complete department called as monitoring department, okay, or CEO's office, okay. So there is a CEO, and there is a MIS guy there, there's a EA there are a couple of people who manage the new processes. There's a Six Sigma guy there, improvement guy. So all of these guys, their only job is to keep tweaking the process and checking whether the process is being done or not.
Okay.
इसका भी एक उसका भी एक प्रोसेस है. ओके, कैसे चेक करते हैं? तो लेट मी गिव यू अनदर स्टोरी. आई होप स्टोरीज आर ओके.
Yeah, fantastic. Man. The more the better.
हाँ, सो कहानी ऐसे है कि व्हेन यू हैव अ पेट डॉग एंड यू टेक द डॉग आउट फॉर अ वॉक, राइट? इफ योर डॉग इज ऑफ अ ब्रीड व्हिच इज पीपल फ्रेंडली, वो लोगों को तकलीफ नहीं देता, पीपल, नोबडी स्कैर्ड, इट कैन, एमिएबल, सबको अच्छा लगता है, पीपल पेट इट एंड ऑल दैट, इट डजंट फाइट विद अदर स्ट्रे डॉग्स एंड ऑल दैट, इट डजंट डू ऑल ऑफ दैट, राइट? देन यू हैव अ वेरी लॉन्ग लीश फॉर दैट डॉग. You allow it to kind of roam freely because you know nothing is going to happen. But imagine if your breed is aggressive, okay, it barks at strangers, probably jump at other dogs, and and it's like such a huge dog that people are scared to come near this dog and so on. What do? You hold the leash very tight.
Yeah.
Same way, when a process is new, you monitor it more frequently. When the process is, everybody's comfortable with the process, then you kind of check it once in a while कि सब लोग ये सब कर रहे हैं कि नहीं कर रहे हैं. Also with people, team members, you trust that ये बहुत diligent है, इसको अगर मैंने लिखित में ये 5 स्टेप दे दिए तो ये 5 स्टेप करेगा ही करेगा. He is not a shortcut taker.
Yeah.
And this guy is like, ये जुगाड़ू है, ये शॉर्टकट लेता है, इसका ऐसा है कि बस काम से मतलब है, तुम मेरे को पूछो मत. तो मैं इसके साथ में आई विल मॉनिटर or review more frequently. इसके साथ में I don't have to review frequently.
Okay.
So every individual team member you can manage differently. Every process you can manage differently. And that's how an organization can evolve. And especially an agency. An agency, if it has to scale, because agency is the only model which is people intensive and scalable.
Exactly.
Other people intensive models are not scalable.
Yeah.
So if you have an agency, or anybody has an agency and you want to scale it, you have to write SOPs from the beginning and have to follow SOPs. You follow SOPs, everybody follows SOPs. You when you want to review a client, you put the SOP in front and start reviewing the client performance or the business performance of the client and the campaign performance. You do everything by the SOP. You build an organization which follows SOP. The culture is that way, then you can scale up very fast, because anybody who walks in the same culture. They see everybody following a document, they also start following a document.
Exactly. True.
And every time there's a fire, you not only work on the fire, you also work on the mechanism that will never have the fire come up again. ये वाला वापस नहीं आना चाहिए.
Exactly. So in this case, I mean, it's like for every process that you build, should you create like checklists for people to follow while they are doing it, so that you monitor कि सही से काम कर रहे नहीं कर रहे, right? If
Yes.
okay. Look, I have a two-part question here, because the second part is I have tried doing this. मतलब जब technical काम होते हैं ना, it's much easier. Like okay, you have to run Facebook ad, go click here, ये वाला green button, उसमें ये लिखा होगा, इसको click करो, उसमें ऐसा tick करो, हो जाता है. But when the challenge comes when it comes to the creative work, like which color to pick, which font to pick.
Sure.
How do you define this brand? How to write this piece of content? So how to go about this?
Can I give you a small checklist for creative work? Okay. First step, make a creative. Second step, choose 5 background variations and change the background color 5 times. 3, change the font of the heading 5 times, 5 variations.
Wow, it sounds so simple.
Take all of this and run it by 3 people to see which is the one that they like the most. So simple, isn't it? So you don't even have to experiment with
We
it.
add like a process of
Creative.
research. पहले research कर लो, फिर punch बना लो, done.
हाँ,
That's good.
हाँ, exactly like that. Exactly like that.
Okay, okay. Then, no, it's
And I'm sure, Jayan, थोड़े time में there'll be AI applications that will say, okay, I'll put in 5 creatives and it'll tell you which is the one that has the highest chance of people stopping the scroll, right? It will happen soon, and I'm sure, and maybe it has happened already as you're speaking. But so then all you need is somebody to follow those and say, "Ki, hey, I have made 20 variations of the same creative. Let's try. This is the one that I like the most, and this is second and third. Let's try an A/B split test to see which one is working well for us, and then we'll go. If not, then we'll try the other variations. But I've done all the work already. So the creative also is now becoming a process, isn't it?
yeah.
But yeah, now imagine if you have a creative person who has a skill set to make it creative, and then we say, okay, तुमने बना लिया creative, अब इसको variations करने के लिए तो process follow करना है तुमको. तो simple है, वो process बहुत simple है.
The same for the copies and the write-ups and makes
Yeah,
sense.
absolutely. I mean, copy though has been beaten to death. I was just going through some training on ChatGPT where they come up with the hook and they set, the heading and the subheading and the negative hook and the positive hook and the 3 bullet points. They come up with everything, and then they say, okay, write 3 variations of it, and they run the 3 ads to see which is the one that's getting the best response, and then they pick that and go to ChatGPT and say, now make 3 more variations of this one. And they keep working till they get the optimum one and then say, okay, now let's put money on this one. Let's put more money on these winning ads. So abhi to that is now becoming like a standard only. Like, if you have to write copy, then okay, the bullets are all there. The what do you say? The flow of the copy is all there. All you need to do is fill in the blank and then whatever variations and your skill set and all of that, right?
Yeah, yeah. I have one question here because okay, I was reading this in some book. I don't remember this book exactly. It talked about order and chaos. So it was talking about the pros and cons of both order and chaos. The pros of chaos is like the for the audience who probably doesn't understand this concept. Chaos is like random things. If you
Yeah.
starting out, you're by default chaotic. You have 100 different things going in your mind, and you probably have no systems. But that is actually the best place to innovate something new because you're fresh.
Correct.
You're
Correct.
a very fresh perspective to something, and slowly you move from chaos to order. By order I mean you build systems, you build replicable things that can copy paste, build fractals of different things so that everything is systemized. But the cons of order is it stops the growth because there is no let's say innovation coming in. So Sanjay, if
Correct.
we
Correct.
innovate something like let's say we systemize the entire thing, how do we innovate? Where does that
Yeah. So, you systemize things that work,
Hmm.
correct? So that you can replicate those with many, many clients. Not every aspect of your business needs innovation all the time. But there are a set of people whose only job is to keep innovating, isn't it? And they live the chaos theory in the organization. They are the ones who are talking to the client and at the forefront of what's happening in the industry and the best practices, and they're looking at what is happening in the other industry and how do they bring that in. So they are always in the state of chaos. But once what they innovate becomes works, then it needs to be systemized so that the entire organization can now follow this.
Yeah.
And every client in the organization, if we have 700, then all 700 get the benefit of this chaos, right? Otherwise, how is that chaos going to now get implemented across all clients? It's not going to happen.
Yeah, true.
So there is merit to both, right? And for sure there are people who are, if you look at the ad agencies of the past, the creative directors were the absolute recluse guys, right? They would party all day. They would sit with their foot on the table all the day, doing nothing but just ideating. And then one idea could actually transform the entire advertising campaign. But the rest of the people are doing all the things which are on process, right? Printing reports, doing the research, asking 50 questions, and doing the focus group discussions, and all. So all that also is needed in the organization, right? You can't do only with chaos in life.
Oh, yeah, that's
So
true.
yeah.
So how does that fit in a small business perspective? You know, this whole order and chaos thing.
When, as long as you're the only person in the business, do what you feel like. But when,
Right. That's a
yeah, simple, right? But when you want to grow the business and you want to have an organization, and if you want people to do things the way you do them, then you have to teach them that. Whether you teach them that in writing or you teach them that by repeating instructions again and again, whichever way it has to be done. And if the organization suddenly is going from 5 people to 55 people, 500 people, if that's how it's going to happen, then a documented process is going to be more useful
yeah.
than anything else,
Yeah.
right?
Makes sense.
And that's how you do it. So as you progress in each stage, you start looking at where do I need to put systems in place, where things will happen. By the way, even if you don't put systems in place, in every organization, there are systems in place by
Hmm.
default. Now, the problem is by default systems have by default results, which means they work with some clients, they don't work with some clients, they're proper in some cases and not proper in some cases. And suddenly when there's influx of business, everything starts to break loose. It happens in advertisements also, right? Online ads, everything is working fine, but the moment you start to scale, the ad starts to not
It
perform, and
breaks.
the CPA goes up, and which means that ad is only good for a certain level. You have to now relook at the ad again and create the
Those
same way.
comes in, yeah. True. Yeah, that's true. But I keep thinking this, like me and my co-founders are like very opposites in this regard. He's the ideating guy, I'm the process guy, and it's so difficult for me to think. If it is not written on a paper, it's like so difficult for me. And I think that also hampered my growth because I was like this, I would never innovate. मतलब जब से
Yeah.
क्या मेरे को एजेंसी चलाना है 10 client खुश रहो. But when he came in, he's
Huh.
like, think 100 crores, think 200 crores. Then that sparks.
Yeah.
I think that sort of a yin and yang is needed so that like you keep.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're actually lucky if you have a partner who's a yin to your yang. It really works. Like if somebody's innovative, somebody's process oriented, somebody's aggressive, somebody's calm, somebody is like a go-getter, somebody is like thoda thand lete hai. So it really works like that, right? Because that combination is really what is needed, and especially in startup courses and startup mentors, everybody will tell you go find a co-founder who's opposite to you. Why? Because then
Yeah,
both of you can bring your strengths together. So हाँ मतलब बहुत बढ़िया. और see, both have their pros and both have their cons, and nothing right, nothing wrong. But कहानी है कि गोल क्या है. अगर गोल है 100 crore करना, तो one guy innovates and one guy takes the innovation and makes it a process.
yeah,
That's the way you'll scale. Otherwise, the scale is not going to happen.
absolutely. What role do you play in the organization? Phenomenal.
So Phenom, I'll tell you Phenom composition is very interesting. So Sandeep Mukhi is my partner. He's also the CEO of the business. I also have a partner. Her name is Arundhati Wadhwa. She's my wife. And another partner who is Nirmala Mukhi, who's Sandeep's wife. So we're two couples who are together,
Oh,
and all of us play active roles in the business.
यहाँ भी कोई
And
झगड़ा नहीं
all
होता.
होता है बहुत कुछ होता है. We're all four friends. So Sandeep, me, and Arundhati, my wife, we studied together in masters in computer management. That's how we know each other. Me and
Okay.
my wife know each other from 5 years before that as well. And then, of course, Nirmala married to Sandeep, so became a part of our group. But we've been friends now for 24 years, 23 years, like that.
Crazy.
Okay. Yeah, and we've fought, we've done whatever we've done, but we are all four equal partners in the business. Sandeep is the CEO. I look at content training, so the deliveries come to me. Nirmala is the head of our corporate training business. She brings in crores of business and makes sure that those trainers deliver the trainings and clients are happy and all that. And Arundhati manages finance and operations, which means billing, collections, all the trainers are reaching the right place, and the material, training material. We have tons of work around delivering physical training. So all those materials are reaching the clients and all that, filing of returns and all that is done in the job. So we have four equal, very active partners in the business. And that's my role is to look at content and is to look at training deliveries essentially. So that's my responsibility again.
Okay, got it. So you're basically building the entire product side of things, making sure that the
Yes.
customer has
Yes.
a good experience.
Correct.
Sounds.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
You can share a little bit of light into how many customers you have served, so far, and what sort of results you have gotten. That will be like fantastic.
Sure, sure. So over the last 8 years in my coaching business, and have to keep separating the two business. They're two separate companies under one umbrella. So my coaching business, I have worked with over 8,000 businesses in a group setting, and also with about 250 organizations one-on-one. Some of the results that we've helped produce is like an event management company has gone from 25 crores to 41 crores in just 12 months. And then in the next 6 months, they went from 41 crores to 70 crores. So if you
Oh,
look at 18 months, they've gone from 25 to 70. I've taken a logistics company, was doing about 20 crores. So this person had built his business, started a business at a very young age of 23, and then built his business to a certain status, and then got like, now what do I do? I've hit a ceiling, and that was 20 crores revenue. We helped him go from 20 crores to 75 crores in just 12 months.
whoa,
Right?
4x.
We've taken yeah, stuff like that. So the results that we see, a small business, especially when you've grown the business and inside the business, you're struggling so hard. You don't see that there is a highway right next to you. All you need to do is reach the highway, your speed will increase, right? There's a system and a process for marketing and sales. If you can just apply that to your business can grow, because a lot of business owners I know, they're good at their trade. Like I know a corrugated box manufacturer. This guy is so good with his product and this, that, and the other. He just didn't know, beyond convention, what do I do? We told him to go market to e-com brands, D2C brands, because everybody needs packaging, and we taught him the science of packaging and how his packaging can actually increase client retention for his clients. So imagine there's a box guy who goes to a D2C brand and says, "Boss, right now your customers are not loyal to you, but I'll help you create a packaging in a way that when your clients receive your goods, they will become your fans, they will become your loyal customers. I will help you get them to buy again from you, retention from you, because I have the whole science of what to put on the package, when they open the package, what will go there,
Of
and
like that
how
package.
do you huh so when we taught him all this, and he started going to these D2C brands, so which means he got his ideal clients and got a USP to tell to these clients, he started getting orders like crazy. And once one client experienced success, he could take the testimony of this client and go to 50 others and say, "Boss, do you want results like this? I can help you." In 1 year, his business tripled
Mm,
from 11 crores to 33 crores. Why? Because he was stuck with his traditional business, going to traditional manufacturers, selling those cokas. Instead of that, he went into packaging business, and it didn't take too much of shift for him to do that, but amazing results like that.
fantastic. That's amazing. So yeah, I absolutely loved it. So Sanjay, let's talk about like how do you find you, uh, how do we subscribe to your mailing list, or like how do we stay connected with you, me and my audience, both? Because I've
Brilliant.
become a fan in this last 45 odd minutes that we have spoken, because this is a very big pain area for me, which is like building systems and process. While doing it for agency, it was easy because agency में तो कर लो हो जाएगा. अब लोगों को जब पढ़ाना
Huh.
होता है, अब कैसे बनाओ सिस्टम प्रोसेस, समझ नहीं आ रहा मुझे. So that's
Correct.
helped a lot.
Oh yeah, ये question that I will give you the answer to the first question and the second question as well. Okay, अब जब लोगों को पढ़ाना होता है तो कैसे बनाओ, right? I will tell you that. So first step is you can find me on sanjaywadhwa.co. Okay. or go to LinkedIn and find me at Sanjay Wadhwa. It's a very easy thing. Or you can go to my YouTube channel at Sanjay Wadhwa Coach. I'm beginning to build my YouTube
I'll tag
channel
your YouTube channel's link
actively.
in my heading and description. So please subscribe. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So that's how you can find me. If you go to my website, you'll be able to book a call with me if you need to book a call. And my promise is, if you book a 50-minute call with me, I will show you how you can generate 50 lakhs in just those 50 minutes, free of cost. I don't charge any money for that call. The only thing is, you need to be a business that I can really help. If I can help you, I will give you ideas with 50 lakhs in that 50 minutes itself. Okay. That way you will get a sense of the kind of work that I do. I would have provided a lot of value to you. And then if you want to kind of explore working with me, then you could, right? That's my process of how people can really work with me. Let me answer that question, Jen. You have a very interesting question you've asked. अब लोगों को पढ़ाना है तो कैसे पढ़ाऊं? Okay,
Uh,
so
पढ़ा
there
तो
is,
लेते हैं, but if I were to systemize that, ask somebody else to teach that thing, it's like the communication gap पड़ा हो जाता है ना फिर. How do you do that? Like it's big pain.
yeah, it doesn't, itna bura hai nahi wo. Okay, I'll tell you three things that you need to do really well. Okay, first, the thing that you're teaching, it must be so robust that it doesn't matter how you teach, it will still produce results.
Got it. Yeah.
Which means you must have a strong product. Second, you must have a system where you teach someone how to deliver the product, which is a train the trainer, or you teach a few people how to deliver. And remember those 4 5 steps, they're applicable here also. So
Yeah.
first you master teaching, then you teach, they observe you, then they teach, you observe them, coach them, guide them till you're comfortable. Now this guy can do it, then let them do it, and at the same time get 2 more people to observe him now, because he's the master that they're kind of replicating, right?
Mm.
So so that's the second thing. And third thing is a mindset thing.
Mm.
Just trust your product and trust the person. It'll happen. If
Yeah.
it doesn't happen, you can step in, but कभी ना कभी तो कमान छोड़नी पड़ेगी.
Yeah.
अगर
बुरे
नहीं
बुरे
छोड़ोगे
क्या ही
तो
हो
नहीं.
जाएगा, एक नेगेटिव रिव्यू आ जाएगा, वर्स्ट केस. That's
हाँ हाँ, नहीं नहीं आता है नेगेटिव रिव्यू. क्या होगा ना, अगर अगर आप वहां पे हो ना, तो क्या होगा, कोई आपको फोन करके बोलेगा मेरे को नहीं जम रहा है इसके साथ. You
ah
can step in. There will be a chance for you to step in before negative reviews happen. Negative reviews don't happen straight
Ooh.
away. See,
Okay.
a lot of people, they don't care too much about negative reviews, positive reviews. मैं ऐसा कर दूंगा, वैसा कर. They are more interested in कि मेरे को result दिलवा दो यार. आप whatever you do, you get me the result. If I'm not getting the result with Ramesh, you step in and you get me the result. But I'm more interested in the result. The
Mm.
problem happens when you say नहीं कर रहा, छोड़ दे.
Mm.
I don't care. When you say I don't care, that's when negative reviews happen. Negative reviews don't happen otherwise. If you stay caring, that boss, don't worry, you go with this guy. If it doesn't happen, I'm here.
Mm.
Nobody will give you a negative review. Not going to happen.
So if we devise something like this, for example, especially when it comes to coaching, because at least till this point, I was like, I'm not like pro courses, but I'm like, courses are not enough when it comes to coaching, because we need to like really understand somebody's business, especially when I'm helping. We are in the business of helping services businesses like web design, IT, basically other agencies. जिनके लिए हम एजेंसी चलाते हैं,
Correct.
मतलब एजेंसी चलाते हैं,
Correct.
and help them get leads and sales through our done for you. Coaching is just basically I'll teach you how to do it. You just find it yourself. If you can't afford my agency, that's like the.
Sure. 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 Sure.
So
Sure.
what happens is, I think a good system in such a case would be like have like a course which exactly defines how we do things in the agency. So these people will come through that, and there'll be business coaches expert in each individual segment. कोई एक lead generation में expert है, कोई cold mailing में expert है, कोई ads में expert है, एक sales में expert है, and
Sure.
basically maybe each of them will teach you all those things in a personal manner. And if you have questions, you can send a mail to me and I'll personally reply. Something like that would be like
Sure.
bring a lot of structure to the.
Sure. There's a very powerful way to do this. They learn only through the course. Okay. but the course is designed to take them through each step of the way. So you act, it's like a ladder, you're climbing each step, right? And you are accessible for a certain time, let's say 2 hours every week on a particular date and time, where somebody may have just started the journey and bought the course and started the journey at level 1 and is on ladder 1. Somebody is at ladder 5. They both come on a call and they ask you the questions they need to ask you to be able to climb that ladder or to be able to master that piece. When you give them advice, you don't give them advice which is specific. You give them an advice in the form of coaching so that anybody who ever reaches that step can then use it.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
very powerful way of doing things. Okay. And it needs a little bit of adjusting and
I
learning.
totally
But
get,
I'm
because
telling you,
I can
that's
only
the
give
few.
specific advices, is what I feel.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
See, वो क्या होता है that you just need a little bit of coaching mindset. Once you start coaching mindset, you'll not say, okay, this is what you need to do. You'll pause and say, anybody who's reached here and is stuck here,
Ah.
these are the things. These are the three things you can do, and these are the three results you can expect. Now, let me ask you, when you start thinking like this, what comes to your mind? And then let him find his own way. The moment they find their own way, they'll say, oh, wow, I thought on my own, I got my own result. Next step, I want to start thinking of this. I'm
Ah.
going to, and if I still don't get result, I'll come back, but I don't. So you're actually not fixing things for them. You're actually teaching them how to fish rather than giving them the fish, right? That's the process.
Fantastic. So basically, we are coaching them, not consulting them. Consulting would be like, take the fish, here it is.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
very
yeah.
powerful insight, man. Like I used to think like, I used to despise this thing. Why is this guy not so specific? My coach is like that. He's always
Yeah.
gives some random thing and I would like beat my head. Then I figure out 3 months later, oh, ye bata raha tha wo banda. But now I see the
Correct.
power in this. So in that case, I can hire some people to just become accountability partners for my clients, just to make sure that they are doing stuff.
Yeah. Yes. So there are three things that are going to happen, Jen. Mark my words. I'm 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 seeing this happening. One, they say India mein courses nahi chalte hain. I think it's time for people to consume courses, and the hybrid model of course instead of a live course every time somebody coming and teaching and all that, it's going to be a hybrid model. People will learn courses and come for Q&A or open hours or whatever you want to call it. There'll be a model, a hybrid model like that. That's what I'm going to happen. Second, I already know of so many people who are accountability coaches. I know a good friend of mine, he's a dentist, and he also doubles as an accountability coach. He only calls you every day for 15 minutes to check whether you've done what you were supposed to do. So he works as an accountability coach, and it's brilliant,
Really?
isn't it? So that's the
Badhiya.
second thing that's going to happen. It's going to happen. Okay. And third, we are going to see a lot of coaches coming up because coaching is that skill that's going to help a lot of people take a lot of input and grow. Till now, we don't have too many great coaches. We only have people who are giving specific advice all the time. But we're going to have people who will help you think, who will help you, how to learn. Like they'll coach you on how to learn stuff like that, so that you become self-dependent. That's going to happen. I mean, it's there's an explosion of that waiting to happen in India now.
Fantastic. Fantastic, man. Thanks a lot for this insight. In fact, the last 10 minutes has been the most, for me personally, it helped. It became like a specific advice for me, if I were to
Yeah,
be honest. And thanks a lot for sharing all the insights. And yeah, see you again. Let's hop on another call sometimes, discuss even more about this.
love to. Thank you for having me, and I'm gonna, really go back, look at this. This is very interesting and very enriching conversation because you have this knack of keep going deep. I love that. Brilliant. I haven't found too many interviews like that. They have a list of questions they keep asking. Thanks for having me. Thank you very much. It was really, really great.